Be honest, is your car clean right now, or would you say it's in need of a deep cleaning?
Stan washes a lot of cars, as this line shows. This was shot on Sunday, and 500 cars were washed by 1 o'clock. Business is very good.
At first, when I started auto detailing, I feel like it was like I was just a car janitor.
The janitor? Ah!
And as throughout the years, as I developed out through my career, I realized that detailing is more than just meticulous cleaning. It's about preserving all the surfaces on a car and making them last as long as possible.
Now, Biff, I want to make sure that we get 2 coats of wax this time, not just 1.
Just finishing up the second coat now.
Now, Biff, don't con me.
On January 29, 1886, Carl Benz applied for a patent for his vehicle powered by gasoline engine. This is the birth of the automobile, and soon after creates a new group of people known as car enthusiasts. These new car fanatics need a way to keep their vehicles looking clean. This is where the story of automotive detailing starts.
Hey, I know this isn't your responsibility, but just mop the rest of this shit up. I'll be right back.
My name is Jason Otterness, and I am a detailer. I've been a detailer for 17 years now, and I started just mobile detailing. I actually worked at a car wash, and I had a manager there that let me detail in the back, and I just kind of fell in love with it, and I felt like it was something that I could do on my own, that I could go to people's offices in their driveway and their work, and I could detail their cars, and fell in love with it.
I would say I started detailing in 2003 when I got a hold of the Griot's Garage catalog, and my next goal was to own every single product that they made.
I think I had a midlife crisis. I didn't like what I was doing in finance, and I had an opportunity when I was 40, what do I want to do? And it came back to something I really enjoyed when I was younger, and that was spending the afternoon detailing a vehicle.
I got into detailing like many of us. As a kid, I loved anything that rolled, that moved, flew. It didn't matter what it was. I'd detail my bike out. And one day I saw a plane doing aerobatics. I decided to follow the plane. It was 8 miles away from home. I didn't even find it the first day. The second day I made it to the airport. And a long story short, Art Scholl, legendary flyer, he put me to work cleaning and detailing airplanes in trade for learning how to fly. It wasn't long before my passion for automobiles took me into detailing cars alongside of airplanes, and I've been hooked ever since.
Automotive detailing starts in the late 1800s as a way to protect the vehicle's finish from dusty dirt roads. Owners start using animal fats as a way to protect the vehicle's paint. This worked, but as you could imagine, it had a very unpleasant smell and attracted bugs. In 1888, a chemist by the name of Friedrich Menzer started a company producing polishing agents for the jewelry industry. Eventually, their product turned into liquid and solid polishing agents, used for all kinds of different materials and surfaces, including automotive paint. This company, called Menzerna, is still around today and is a leader in paint polishing products. A few years later, in 1901, Frank Maguire Jr., the founder of a small furniture polishing company, started using his furniture polish to protect the outside of cars. Today, Maguire's still stands as one of the largest car care product companies in the world. Around the same time that Maguire's was getting their start, George Simons developed a cleaner and a carnauba wax product specifically made for car finishes. His company opened up the mass production of auto detailing in San Diego, where customers could drop off their cars at dedicated shops to have it simonized for a fee. From these humble beginnings, the detailing industry evolves and creates demand for consumers to have their vehicles serviced by local detailing companies.
You know, I started detailing because it was something that I was good at and I enjoyed and I had a passion in. It was one of those things where you get as much out of it as you put into it. So I felt like the harder I worked, the more that I would be successful. The more cars I could detail, the more money I would make. So I felt like it was a direct, I got out of it what I put in.
So why should you even get your car detailed, some may even ask? What's the point? Driving in the dirt, the snow, and the rain, it's just going to get dirty again, right? Why do some people spend so much time and money getting their cars detailed, and then there are some who never even go in for a simple wash?
I think that getting a car detailed is it's a feel-good. It's a lot like you go to the salon, you get your hair done, women get their nails done. I think guys would do the same thing with their car because it feels good.
You know, when I come home and my house is clean, I just feel great. I feel good. I think people get the same sense. Like when I go every 6 months to get my teeth cleaned, I feel good. I got a big smile. I kind of stand a little taller. I think the same reason why people get their car clean. It looks good. It looks great.
I actually think the car drives better when it's clean.
I think people realize that cars are expensive and they're going to be keeping them for a long time, so they want to keep them maintained. They want to keep them looking good for as long as possible. Nobody likes to drive an old, rusted, beaten out car. They like driving new cars. It feels good to drive a new car. So I think that's definitely one reason people choose to detail their car.
We better stop and get the car washed.
Yeah, what's the rush? Might rain next week.
Hey, Homer. Car's kind of dirty.
Really? You think I should get it washed?
Yeah, maybe.
What is auto detailing? Well, at first I think auto detailing, what I thought it was just being a car janitor.
When you think of what auto detailing is, there's the obvious answer, which is what you do to the car. You clean it, you condition the surfaces, you protect the surfaces, and that of course is the obvious answer. But for some people like myself, the answer goes a bit deeper, and that there's a very personal aspect to detailing.
It's not just cleaning. So many people in our industry just think it's cleaning.
Detailing, taps into passion, and it's not only passion for the car, but passion for doing this type of transformation on vehicles.
Detailing at its core is keeping a car clean, but I think it's with the goal of keeping a car looking great for a long time, preserving it and making it something that I've always had. It's been a source of pride for me to have my cars that are not new, but look like they're new.
If you have ever washed or waxed your own vehicle, you already know that feeling of satisfaction when you see a dirty, grimy surface turn into something glossy and shiny. Throughout the years, the detailing industry has evolved. The machines, the products, and the procedures that we use today aren't what they used to be.
So when I started, which is quite a long time ago in the early 1980s, detailing as a profession was in its infancy, and it really needed to be explained at that point.
For me personally, it was more car washing and wash and wax, those types of things. And I really, detailing is way different for me now, where it's about preservation and paint correction and trying to get as much gloss and depth and shine out of a paint surface.
So going back over 35 years ago when I got started in detailing, it looked a whole lot different than it does today. The products were archaic. Matter of fact, looking back even, I think what I thought was perfection back then would be the baseline for today's standards. The products were difficult to work with. We really had one choice of tools. The selection was very poor. We didn't have any education. And a lot of us were just kind of winging it. We learned from the old school body shop people and so forth. And it was very much, it wasn't even on the foundation steps yet. It was leading up to the foundation steps. It's basically the caveman before they invented the fire.
When I first started detailing, it looked very different. You didn't have the tools. There was no microfiber towels, so everything was done with terry cloth. You used a lot more glaze. It was a lot more about, it was makeup. It was covering stuff up rather than truly fixing. You know, we talk about correcting paint now. You weren't correcting paint in the past. You were just polishing it and then putting a glaze on it to cover up the minor defects that you couldn't fix. So it was a lot more, I thought it was a lot more like dentistry, where you're patching things up rather than truly fixing and preserving.
Fast forward to now, the detailing is much more sophisticated. It's much more developed as a business. It's much more developed as an industry. It's becoming, to get much more credibility. It used to be thought of, oh, you're just a janitor for cars and you're, cleaning up cars. But now, there is a very, very technical side to this now, with the surfaces on cars and the technology and tools and the development of the detailing procedures. It's much more technical than it used to be. And so now it's become, a little more grown up as a business. And there are lots of people getting into professional detailing that, are educated, degreed, college-educated people, and highly developed business career people that are getting into it. So it's becoming a lot more respectable, a lot more professional business.
There's been a lot of innovations in just the past decade in the industry, but I think one of the biggest innovations that I've seen in the industry as a whole is detail shops are becoming more than just detail shops. They're understanding that there's more protection services out there, like window tinting, paint protection films, these long-term ceramic coatings, and other restoration services. And I think you're starting to see a lot more detail shops become, kind of a protective services shops per se, and they're not just focusing on cleaning.
When I think of the biggest innovations in the industry, the first thing I go to is the buffers. The quality that you can get using a DA buffer versus a rotary style buffer. Even though the rotary feels like a very serious machine, I can fix cars in less time and get better results with a DA than I ever could with a rotary.
We thought that 10 years ago it was changed. In the last 5 years, it's hard to believe what's happened. Tools and products are completely different. Coatings coming into play. It completely changed the game for both consumers and providers alike. But I think what's key is education. Is back when I got my start, is that we had nothing. Is that you learned in the trenches. Most of the knowledge was tribal knowledge. Most of that tribal knowledge was wrong, as we later would find out. But the key today is, I think, is much like doctors, paramedics, medics in the military. They take an oath. And they take an oath to do no harm. Is that within detailing, I wish that we could get the industry to go that same direction. Is that we've got training available that was never available before. We're bringing detailers up to speed that what would take them 5, 6, 7 years, we can do in a couple weeks. It's elevated itself, but there's still a lot of people doing things to cars they should not be doing. And it's not good for the consumer. It's not good for our industry. But I'm happy to say that 10%ers out there, the top performers, maybe somebody that you think is expensive, they're doing it the right way.
With the technology in today's world, this industry is progressing at a rapid speed. The machines we use, the processes, and the products are always evolving.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of people get the confusion between a car wash and a detail kind of mixed up.
A wash is exactly how it sounds. You're cleaning surfaces that you would kind of do a wash on a more frequent basis, and it's kind of light duty detailing as a way to describe it, but you're removing dirt, you're removing road grime, you're cleaning surfaces of whatever might be laying on top.
To me, is defined as if you're using a clay bar and a polisher in some form or fashion, hopefully to a greater extent than that. That's how I define detailing versus just general car care.
Car wash has an end point. You have to stop washing at some point. A car wash is always making excuses for the wash. Oh, that won't come out. You know, oh, that way it won't get tar off the car. Or, no, I can't clean inside the barrel of the wheels. Whereas detailing, it doesn't have an endpoint. You keep going until the car looks clean. When it's perfect and there's no more dirt on the car, then you know you're done detailing. So it's a much more thorough process.
You know, your wash is going to last however long it'll last. Maybe 2 blocks down the road, you're going to get dirty again. Maybe 3 or 4 days later, you're going to get dirty again on the car. But a detail really involves procedures that have a more lasting impact on that surface. So what we do with detailing is a little more invasive and more durable and more longer lasting. So, you know, the effects of what you do, you can view weeks, months, perhaps years later.
Would somebody please explain it to me? Like I'm a 6-year-old?
So, because detailing as a profession has evolved, and then if you look at the whole evolution in the last 5 to 10 years, the most rapid development in the business and technology and cars has happened in the last 5 to 10 years. So things are happening very, very fast, and it's even a challenge for detailers to keep up with it, but it's especially a challenge for consumers of detailing services to understand the changes that have happened in the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years.
I think our industry is full of quick this, I need a quick buff, I need a quick this or that, and they think it's a quick thing, but they don't understand there's procedures that you have to do, and it takes a lot longer. Shortcuts aren't going to do a really good job, and we go back and we want to make sure it's 100%. But I think the biggest thing is time.
Because sometimes it's hard to know when to stop. When you're a detailer, you just want to keep on going. You see the swirls and the scratches and you want to remove them, and you might see tar or a stain on the carpet. You want to make it perfect, and that stuff takes time. And I think for anybody who hasn't spent the time in their own driveway washing or cleaning or detailing their car, they don't understand how labor intensive this is.
So I think I'm selling time. It's going to take this amount of time, and people don't understand. Why does it take a day and a half to do a paintwork correction and then to coat that? Can't you just get it done? I need to pick up my kids at 3 o'clock. Can you get it done in a couple hours? And they think maybe I need to put more people on the car just to get that done. But there's a procedure in place.
I hate when someone brings me a garbage car and wants me to clean it up. I always tell them that detailing isn't something that you do every 3 years. Detailing is something that you do constantly. And it's the process. You first protect the car, and then you keep it that way. And it's so much easier to take care of a protected car rather than letting it decay and then trying to fluff it back up and letting it, because you can never get it back to the same level if there's been decay there. So I think really it's just about the passion that you have for the car and preserving that real high level of standard. So it's about preserving more than it is cleaning up some other mess.
The car wash and detailing industry is estimated to be worth over $33 billion worldwide. And according to the International Car Wash Association in 2019, 77% of the American public reported that they have used a professional car wash or detailing service.
You know, the kinds of individuals that seek out professional help to have their car look a certain way, they either understand that there's a gap in their knowledge and their capability or their available time.
For some people, it's purely need. As a parent, I think a lot of parents just let their car get way beyond. It's as if, from a professional standpoint, you pull a kid grenade and pull the pin out, you throw it in the back seat, and it's as if, you know, just a mess bomb blew up in the back seat. For other customers, again, it's about preserving the investment. And then for another selection of clients, it could be about perfection.
You know, for myself, I just enjoy driving a clean car. It makes me feel, you know, just like I'm wearing a new pair of shoes or nice clothes. I just feel like I have a little more confidence when I'm dressed up nice. The same thing for my car. When it's nice and clean and it's shiny, I just feel like it drives better and I have a little more confidence driving it.
For a lot of people, I think it's a combo of things. It's about not just keeping your car clean and protected, but it's about taking and investing in your investment that you've made in the car. And then also, hopefully, a little bit of pride and ownership, too.
What are you doing with that hunk of junk? Get the hose. You're going to help me wash it. No, I'm not.
You want rides places or not?
Looks amazing. Still looks like something a homeless hippie lives out of.
What's changed in the past several years in detailing?
It's a lot has changed.
First off, the technology. Technology's finally hit detailing is where we've got coatings that have come into it.
You had waxes, but they didn't protect in the same way. You get such a more dramatic look and such a better, or so much better protection from a ceramic coating than you get out of any other protectant I've ever used.
Beyond the technology and the tools and the surfaces, I think the biggest impactful change that's hit detailing is the internet. When I started, no internet, no Facebook, no Instagram, no resources available to the professional in terms of support structure and coaching and all of that. And any product knowledge, anything you wanted to learn about procedure, it was trial and error. It was ask your sales guy who would read the label and say, yeah, that's a compound. I mean, there's just not a lot available. And fast forward to today, the amount of information and support on the technical side and support on the business side is so much more now than it used to be.
Also is the influx of women into the industry is that I think it's really brought a different dimension to the industry of having female detailers take and come in and not only be part of us, but succeed at levels that a lot of the guys just never imagined. So, Diane, what do you think that the females have brought to the game?
They've brought a whole lot to the game. You don't have to come in and muscle everything. There's a lot of finesse involved. There's a trust factor. There's a lot of women. Women are buying the details. They're your customers. And dealing with another woman, it's, there's a huge advantage to that. And just, the dealing with women and having a familiar face and, just that trust factor is just a huge thing.
Some of the most misunderstood things about detailing is the stuff that you can get out. There's a joke in the detailing industry that will buff out.
Shit'll buff out.
And there's so much damage that people do to their cars, they think you can just buff out. And the damage that we're truly buffing out of the car is really minor. It's the stuff that people don't see. The stuff that your average consumer who is not a detail consumer, what they see, that's when it's really bad and then we can't fix it.
Prices and the services. You can have one shop that has a full detail, maybe priced at $149, and then you have another shop down the street that's maybe same full detail name and it's priced at $349. And I don't think consumers understand that this is a service-based business in that one shop's full detail may be way different than another shop's full detail. When consumers call us and they're trying to compare an exterior detail, our exterior detail, to their exterior detail. Every detailer is a little different in the service that they offer. And I think that's the hardest thing to communicate to a customer is just because their detailer is $149 and our detail is $349, it's not the same service. It's not gonna yield the same end result.
And a lot of people don't see behind the scenes of what's going on before either a mobile detailer rolls out to your house or your work or before you take your vehicle to a shop, is all the trade shows, the certification, the insurance of going through and making sure that you've got proper insurance, of getting connected, also the value of somebody's time, not just the time they're spending on your vehicle, but the time they've taken to take and gain the knowledge and the skills to properly work on your vehicle. A lot of people just don't give value to those items.
Automotive detailing has grown massively in the past few years. New detail shops and entrepreneurs are being born every day. It is a passion-driven business that can be a very satisfying, rewarding career.
Yeah, so I've trained a lot of detailers throughout the years, and I think the first thing that I try to get them to understand is that there's a lot of different tools and there's a lot of different products when it comes to taking care and maintaining and detailing a car. And just like any tool or product, you definitely have to
study, understand, be aware, really get your mind around, detailing procedures and the technical side of surfaces you're working on.
And in reality, it's a challenge. I'm not gonna lie. Learning those skills, keeping those skills, advancing those skills is very difficult. But much harder than that is being a true entrepreneur, to be a true business owner.
I would also advise pretty much anybody who is young or who is interested in taking care of maintaining cars, think of it as, what's your ascent? Because the likelihood of you being, 52 years old and still, laying under a car, I think you want to figure out your ascent, figure out your path to polish cars when you want to, but not have to be doing it every day for the next 25 years of your life. So figure out a way to do what you love, but also understand that there's a timeline to that passion, and understand that your passion will evolve, so don't get stuck in a dead end.
Is a detailing business right for you?
Sit down. Maybe you'll learn something.
My favorite memory in detailing was actually, when I first started my business. There was a moment where I was in front of a big building, a big office building. There's thousands of people in there. And I remember looking up at all those office windows and seeing everybody up there, probably working behind a desk, probably doing something they don't like doing. And I was out there in the parking lot, just washing cars and detailing cars. And that moment there, it struck me. It felt so, I felt accomplished, like I'm doing something I love to do. I'm passionate about this. And I just felt lucky at that moment that I found something that I was passionate about.
So most detailers have kind of a singular story, is that where they work on automobiles. I've been able to make my living off of auto detailing, but make my lifestyle with aircraft. And looking back to my beginnings, very humble. I grew up pretty poor. My mom and grandma raised me. My mom was a single mom. My grandma really stepped in and was kind of the father figure. I had a lot of people that kind of pushed me ahead, but I think the thing that pops into me as a wonderful image is the first day I walked up and I'm gonna detail Air Force One. For me, it was my Everest. It was reaching an area I never thought of in my career, not just with a national symbol, but an international symbol. And it was just something that to this day, it was just a very special moment, and probably one of my happiest moments in my career.
For me, I've mentioned this earlier in the interview that I'm addicted to the result. And so it makes me smile at the end of the process when, and I know you're not supposed to touch the paint, but when I can take the back of my hand and walk down the side of the car and feel that corrected surface.
Detailing's always been my happy place. Even I had other careers, and whenever I was stressed out or wanted to feel better, I'd go to my detailing happy place. Detailing by myself in the garage on the weekend was always a feel good. I think my favorite memories were working in my driveway with my friends. I started doing that in high school. I literally still do that today. I go home from work, and on the weekends, my friends come over and we detail our cars together. Why do I detail? I always joke that there's something wrong with me, and that's why I detail. I think, in seriousness, my first car was a Honda Civic, and I knew I liked cars, and I knew I wanted to be around the car, but being a brand new Honda Civic, it didn't need any maintenance. There was no wrenching or work that you had to do on it. And so I wanted to spend time with it, and I think I just started cleaning it. In hindsight, I look back, and before I had a car, I had a BMX bike. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was detailing my BMX bike too. So there's something in me that wants to keep a car clean.
This is what I want to do. I want to run a business doing this, and because I want to enjoy what I do. And now, people laugh at me, but my favorite day of the week is a Monday. I love coming to work. I love managing my detail shop, or overseeing my detail shop, and it's coming in here every day. I enjoy that.
I asked myself why continue. I actually sold my first business, left the industry to go out and do bigger and better things, and started other businesses up. We're very successful in that. But in the back of my mind, I had this little light that I love cars, I love airplanes. I was very successful in other careers and other businesses, but that light just kept flashing. For me, detailing is a part of who I am. It's a part of my makeup. It's loving the automobile so much, but also seeing what we do to people's vehicles and how happy they get, the joy. But for me, it's just pure passion and my love affair of I'm a lucky individual, is that I get to do what I absolutely love every day of my life.
It almost became an obsession. Like I wanted to be the best at it. I wanted to, have the shiniest, glossiest paint. I wanted to know as much as I could about every surface, every fabric, every type of car, and how to clean it and how to make it look its best. And, it came down to everything.
Hello, my name is Matt Moorman. I live here in Central Florida, about an hour north of Orlando, called The Villages. I own a company called Obsessed Garage, where I like to think of myself as the voice of the unreasonable.
Hey, my name's Greg Natanson. I'm the co-owner of Chicago Auto Pros Detailing.
Hi, my name is Rennie Doyle. I'm the owner of Detailing Success. I'm also known as the detailer of Air Force One. And most recently, I was elected into the International Detailing Association's Hall of Fame.
I'm Jason Rose, the Global Director of Training for a company named Rupus.
My name is Jason Otterness, and I am a detailer.